Views expressed by Casters Guild members are only the opinions of that member, and that could change from day to day. Guild members may use mature language, but that in no way means they are mature. Listener discretion is advised.
Guildmaster Rick returns from the Galaxy's Edge. Taliesin Jaffe has us excited about his new role as Lightkeeper, and do not cross the picket line of the Writer's Strike, because that's the spell we're casting tonight on Casters Guild. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Casters Guild. I am your Guildmaster Rick Perry, and I'm pretty fly for a Jedi.
And I am your Guildmaster Baron Kane, and damn it, Rick, I'm a podcaster, not a comedian.
And joining us again is returning guild member. Feel free to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Mary. I'm Hobbit of the Shire, I guess.
And I just got back from Galaxy's Edge.
No one wants to hear it. No.
Don't be peanut butter and jelly.
I'm doing it.
How was it?
I cried multiple times. I cried.
So horrible.
First I cried when I was building a lightsaber. And I got a lot of crap from some of my friends when I was like, oh, I'm going to Galaxy's Edge and I'm going to build a lightsaber. And they were like, why would you spend $250 on a lightsaber when you could buy much better lightsabers online for like $80? Which is true. But you're paying for the experience.
Right.
Because when those... They call themselves... They call the cast members who run the Savi's lightsaber workshop, they call them Seekers. And when the Seekers are guiding you through the process and like... toward the end, you hear a voice come through, and I won't spoil it for anyone who doesn't know or might want to go through the lightsaber process at some point in time. It's moving. It is an experience, so that's what you're paying for is the experience, not the end product. But the end product's pretty cool too.
It's nice. James Earl Jones, isn't it?
That would be something, but it is not. It is.
I don't know how I would feel.
Yeah. I might cry for a different reason.
Right. Now it's time to construct your lightsabers. Bleed the kyber crystal. No!
Oh, speaking of which, I don't know if you know this about the red kyber crystals, but there is a really small chance if you go and buy a separate red kyber crystal that when you open it, it'll actually be a black kyber crystal. It still lights. Wow. It still lights the blade red, but if you put it in a holocron, it's Snoke instead of being like any of the other Sith. Like the black one's always Snoke. So my wife has a bit of a superpower when it comes to blind box pulls.
I've heard this actually.
Yeah. So if you want a blind box figure, you can put my wife in front of a bunch of blind boxes and tell her which figure you're looking for. And she can usually grab a blind box, you open it, and there it is, the exact figure that you were looking for. So I took my wife over to the wall of red kyber crystals. There were probably, 40 or 50 red kyber crystals sitting there. And I said, find me a black one. And she grabbed one red kyber crystal. We bought it, we opened it, and damn it if that thing wasn't black.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Sounds like what my little niece has been doing recently has just been saying something and it just happens to come true.
Yeah. It's crazy the superpowers that we have, and like we just don't attribute them as superpowers, but like it's superpowers.
She's 3 and they go to King's Dominion all the time. And there's this one ride. I don't know if she knows how to count how many cars there are and how many people. She's picked every time the exact car they would be getting into when they go.
Oh, okay.
She looked at my brother-in-law this afternoon and said, Daddy, tomorrow your car is going to be broken. So my brother-in-law was like, oh no. Hopefully I can get to work tomorrow.
But yeah, and then later on, I didn't expect to do any character interactions or anything like that while I was at Disney Hollywood Studios. But we were walking through, and we were outside of Galaxy's Edge, about to enter Galaxy's Edge after lunch. I think it was we'd love to have lunch. And they had Max dressed as Powerline from the Goofy movie. And I didn't think it would hit me in this way, but very recently, my nephew passed away. And anyone who's listened to the podcast might know that he was very important to me. But when he was really, really young, the Goofy movie was our movie together. Like, we would watch that movie together. So I was like, heck yeah, I'm going to go see Max. And then while I'm in line, I just break down crying, like sobbing, just didn't do anything but think about my nephew. I managed to pull myself together in enough time to actually do the meet and greet and like take the picture. And then after we leave, we're walking into Galaxy's Edge, and I'm trying to explain to my wife why I broke down, and I just broke down again. So yeah, I cried several times in Disney for different reasons. I also got to build a droid, so I now have a BB unit.
Nice.
Rode all the rides, had a wonderful time at Oga's Cantina. We got a reservation, and my manager at my current job also happens to live in Florida and have like a annual pass. So she managed to get a Oga's Cantina reservation for the same time as ours. So we got to hang out with her, had a blast, got a little too drunk. But that's what you do when you're at a Star Wars Cantina. Oh,
I've seen the pictures of it, and it just looks amazing. I really want to go.
Oh,
I
yeah.
haven't been to Disney in years.
I had a Rancor flight. I had I forget what they called the first drink I ordered, but it wasn't even a drink. It's more like a Jello shot they give you in a Petri dish that also has like boba bubbles in it, and the whole thing's alcoholic and it has Pop Rocks on the top. And then I had a fuzzy tauntaun at the end, which has like it has these little things in it that turn your lips and tongue numb as you drink it, which was fun.
That just sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Potentially messy.
Oh, yeah. And toward the end of the day, I even got interrogated by a stormtrooper.
Oh, nice. Did you cave?
Oh, no. I told them I was a moisture farmer.
Nice. Nice. And they believed it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Man.
They bought it. They asked me what that was I was carrying on my hip because I had my lightsaber I just built hanging. I was just like, oh, that's just some scrap metal.
Yeah. Did you do the hand wave and everything?
Yeah.
So basically, it's like walking into our childhoods.
Oh yeah. Honestly, the first time I almost cried was just walking into Galaxy's Edge, just in general. Like I don't know why I'm surprised. Disney Imagineers, the way they can put things together, it's just fantastic. The whole place looks like you're stepping right into a movie.
I remember the first time I went to Disney, my parents got on the one Star Wars ride, and I ended up getting stuck with Chewie. Me and my sister were being watched over by this giant Wookiee. Because my parents both went on the ride at the same time. There's a picture somewhere of the two of us, and we were like 6 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
Had a blast. Really didn't know who he was, just thought he was this big teddy bear covered in metal.
That's fantastic.
Big scary teddy bear.
No, and I don't know who the actor was, but he was very, very tall.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They
do a great job at casting
clearly.
their characters.
They do. They put a lot of thought into it. Put a lot of training into it.
Mm-hmm.
Wish they paid them more, but
Yeah. Yeah, they're banking a lot off of the fact that the people who are auditioning just really want to be those characters and really want to work at Disney, and they're willing to take a lower wage for it.
Yep, it's
unfortunately
it's essentially a glorified internship.
Yep, and some of the cast members, it's not even a glorified internship; it's just an internship.
Yeah, a friend of mine's down there with the college program. She's one of the photographers in Animal Kingdom.
It's got to be a fun job, but like, yeah,
Oh, she definitely enjoys it. She won Photo of the Year.
Oh, that's really cool.
So, yeah, she enjoys it. She went down for the college program and decided to stay another year. So, I see a couple of her pictures, and I know she has fun, and you get some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, which is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We do need to go down to Disney again. My niece and nephew are going to be 7 and 4 this year, so it's about that age that it's time to go.
About that time.
I think if I ever go down there, it's going to be in December.
Yeah, I could see
It
that.
is nice at Christmas.
It was pretty warm when we were there.
I don't even care about it being Christmas. I care about it being hot as balls. And if I can go down there when it's not hot as balls, then I'm going to be happy.
It still gets pretty warm in December, too. The humidity is what kills me.
Not as warm as July.
It's still not July.
July does suck.
I will say going during an off season, which technically when we went last week, that was still considered an off season.
Mm-hmm.
It's the way to do it.
Yeah.
I've gone back and forth a lot of times about going during October, during the Halloween Horror Nights over at Universal, I think is what they call it, and Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, I think is what they call it at Disney, because it wouldn't be as hot. But I feel like that's a prime time for people to go. Like, talk about crowded.
Oh yeah,
Was it crowded when you went?
No, that's what I'm saying. We went during kind of an off season. We had Lightning Lane because you pay $11 and you can jump on the rides immediately as long as you schedule it on your app. Which why wouldn't I pay $11 for that? It means I saved myself so much time. The one ride we couldn't get Lightning Lane for, which is the new big Star Wars ride, Rise of the Resistance, because the only Lightning Lanes they were offering were people who were staying at the resorts, and we weren't. Even then, as long as we watched it, we managed to jump in line at a time when the wait was only 45 minutes, which, if you know anything about waiting for Disney's ride, that's fantastic.
Oh yeah. Yep. Universal Studios is the same way. We waited in line for this flying raptor ride that we were in line for 2.5, 3 hours to get on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was over in 30 seconds. It was a fun ride, just not worth the wait.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say, if you're going to Disney, and like I've heard that they're getting rid of Lightning Lane and bringing back the Fast Pass, or making Lightning Lane easier to use sometime soon, whatever it is they're doing, the number one piece of advice I could give to anyone going to those parks is pay for the Lightning Lane, pay for the Fast Pass, whatever it is, because we would step up to rides, and as long as we got there during our assigned time, we would practically get right on. We'd wait less than 10 minutes, sometimes less than 5 minutes for a ride, whereas some of those rides you were waiting over an hour, and that's during the off season. During the main season, I gotta imagine it's several hours you're waiting for rides.
Yeah, depending on the ride. Space Mountain had a wait time of like 3 hours the last time I went, and that was 10 years ago.
So yeah, the $11 is worth your time, because if you can shave several hours off of just waiting in line for your vacation, that's worth the $11.
Oh yeah, especially waiting outside in the Florida sun.
Mm-hmm.
Being a pale German-Irish woman, I turn into a lobster.
And after we went to the Hollywood Studios, we did spend some time in Disney Springs, which is like their little shopping center area. I went to the Lego store.
Yes, I love the Lego store.
I bought my first Lego sets that I have since, I don't know, I was in middle school or high school. So many years been since I bought a Lego. And I bought a BD-1 set, which I built just the other night. And I bought an X-Wing. And because I spent so much, because it was Star Wars week, because we went down there right before May the 4th. Because it was Star Wars week and we spent so much on Star Wars Legos, we got a bunch of extra Star Wars sets for free. We got a mini X-Wing, a mini Death Star, a Death Star souvenir coin. So
I don't have any of the Lego kits, but I have a big trunk. One of my dad's big trunk is full of Legos, the classic Legos from like when they first came out in the 60s when he was a kid.
Yeah.
So like the rubberized tires, all of it.
Oh yeah,
it's
classic.
just in a trunk. We used to play with those all the time when I was a kid. So the kits never made sense to me Because I liked being able to just build completely random things from whatever we had in the trunk.
Sure.
At some point when the kids are a little bit older, especially my niece, we'll probably get those back out again.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Heck, I would just get them out to play with them. I haven't messed with those in a while.
But actually, speaking of Disney Springs and long lines, the longest line we waited in the entire time we were there was probably for Gideon's Bakehouse.
Oh.
Which, that line,
Yeah.
I kept walking, just looking for the back of that line. And just kept walking. But it was the one thing my wife wanted to do more than anything. So I was like, I don't care how long this line is. We're going to wait in this line for Gideon's Bakehouse. And if you like the dark gothic aesthetic, they've got it nailed over there at Gideon's Bakehouse. And I will say that their cookies are delicious.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely one of the best bakeries in that area.
Mm-hmm.
They're really good. And I've stood in that line. It's entirely worth it. It just takes forever.
Oh, yeah. Well, luckily we went there after dark, so we weren't waiting in the sun the entire time.
I take it, did you go into the actual Disney store with all the Disney, all the costumes and all the Disney stuff?
Oh, yeah, that's where we did most of our souvenir shopping. Like, that's where we got our friends and stuff. We're like, oh, here's some stuff we can bring home for them.
Both my niece and nephew just went absolutely bonkers when we went in there, because my nephew absolutely loves Disney princesses and still attempts to fit himself into a 3 sizes too small Cinderella dress.
Yeah.
That's actually my niece's.
You gotta get the right size, man. Get the right size.
He shimmies himself into it and it barely comes to his knees, but he's a happy camper. So he's such an odd little kid and we love him, but he loves everything Disney and all the Disney princesses sparkly. As long as it's sparkly, he's good.
Yeah, gotta have the glitter.
I think right now his favorite is he goes back and forth between Moana and Coco.
Yeah.
That's his favorite movies.
Yeah, that's the phase my daughter's in right now. And I don't know if it will be a phase or if this will be something if she grows into a Disney adult. But yeah, she's all about the princesses. She likes Rapunzel because we haven't cut her hair since she's been born, so she's got really long hair. And anytime we talk about maybe cutting her hair, she's like, "No, I want to have long hair like Rapunzel."
Oh goodness!
And I'm like, "You're still 5, kid. We're the ones who have to take care of it."
Yeah. She doesn't realize how having long hair how much it takes to take care of long hair.
Yeah, my kid inherited my hair, which is super thick, super curly.
Yep. My niece's hair is stick straight and thin, so she's not too burdened. She's a tiny little thing, but she's not as into the Disney princesses as my nephew is. He'd go absolutely bonkers for like one of the princess breakfasts.
Oh,
He would
yeah.
just go absolutely nuts. I can't wait to take them to Disney. I remember going as a kid and I loved it.
But enough about my vacation. Things actually did happen in the geek world since we last recorded. Jedi Survivor finally released. I've got my copy.
Of course.
I haven't even opened it yet, but I've got my copy. Mostly because I was, on vacation. But apparently the PC users weren't super happy with it.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, the console users are fine, but the PC version apparently is pretty buggy.
Apparently they had to make up for Cyberpunk, I guess.
Yeah, EA released a statement that was just kind of like, yeah, PCs are hard to develop for, and we couldn't account for all the different types of PCs and all the different types of hardware that this game might possibly run on. It's not one issue, there's many issues, and we're working on trying to resolve them all.
Yeah, I'm not a developer, but I mean...
Yeah, this is why people are so upset, because that's the response that EA put out, and it's like,
yes, developing games is hard, but I can't imagine of developing a game for PC is any harder than developing for a console.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there are definite shortcuts that you can take because you know exactly what you're developing for.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
but if you're having that much of an issue, push your release date.
Yeah, work out all the bugs before you set it out to anybody, because that's not fun to play. That's just ruins the experience if everything is buggy.
Yeah, just, and I get why you can't push a console release date as much if you're already like printing discs and stuff, but the majority of PC players are downloading it digitally anyway. And when I say majority, I mean overwhelming majority. I gotta imagine almost no one is getting it physically for PC.
What I don't get is I can't get God of War Ragnarok on PC yet.
Well, that's because it's proprietary.
But why couldn't they just do the same thing?
Yeah, definitely. You could have pushed back the PC release date and just been like, okay, it's available for consoles on this day, but we're still working out some bugs on the PC version. Push that release date.
Anybody would care. I don't think anybody would care. There'd be a couple of dickheads that would care.
Yeah, there'd be some very vocal assholes who would go, I want my Star Wars game, but like everybody else would be like, oh, okay, well, at least you didn't release a broken product.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, you've always got that one person that has to poo-poo everything, so...
Yep. It's probably someone that wouldn't have even bought the game in the first place.
Yeah. Like, they just get mad when they hear it got pushed. Oh, look, here's a opportunity for me to rant about something. Here I go.
Here I go. Yeah, it's so dumb. But, yeah, I can't wait to play it. My kiddo's got a PS5. I may end up just getting it on the PS5.
Well, if you wait a little bit longer, I mean, if we look at the history of failed PC launches, you might be looking at getting a discount on it real soon. Like, a bunch of people have already requested refunds for the PC version of the game, and if enough people do that, then they're going to try to push more copies out the door by giving a discount. So
yeah, it's true. That's true.
And I know you don't mind grabbing a buggy game now to play a better version of it later.
Well, you say that though, but what game are you referencing?
Cyberpunk.
My game didn't bug at all.
Yeah.
I had a completely flawless playthrough. I had more bugs playing in Fallout,
Bethesda
Skyrim.
games. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I had more bugs playing in that. Cyberpunk was flawless. So it's like, yeah, no, I don't have a problem.
But back then, even when we were defending Cyberpunk, we talked about how we were used to having buggy releases because we're Bethesda fans. So, and we're both okay with that. Like, we both know when you get a Bethesda game at release, we know what we're signing up for.
Well, not only that, I mean, look at the other games that the people who put out Cyberpunk put out.
Yeah.
Notorious for the bugs in that. So, yeah. I mean, The Witcher is...
Yeah, it's covered.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll play it until you patch it, and then, we'll play it some more.
Yep.
And there's one game I've played on PC for 10 years that's constantly getting patches. I think they patch it like once or twice a week to get it all updated. Just because it's all online and it's a huge community and they're constantly having to fix things that break.
What is it?
Wizard 101.
Gotcha. I used to play that back in the day.
It's been a little bit since I've played, but you also have to dedicate, in the higher levels, you have to dedicate a couple hours at a time to play.
Yeah.
Like any MMO, really.
Yeah.
I just haven't had the time recently.
But speaking of nostalgia,
yeah.
Baron, are you ready to feel a little old?
I mean, again?
So, a complete set of the base set Pokemon cards recently made its way onto Antiques Roadshow.
Oh, God. Really?
Yep, and it got appraised on Antiques Roadshow. Like
that makes me feel old.
I forgot about. Well, how old is it, though? How old is it?
1999, I believe, was the release of the original base set. Yes, 1999.
I was 10.
So, yeah, 24 years? 24 years, that's enough.
Mm-hmm.
I used to babysit two boys that were just thrilled that I knew what Pokemon was, because to them it was brand new. This was only maybe 7 or 8 years ago. And they were like, "You know what this is?" I'm like, yeah, this was popular when I was a kid. They just thought it was the craziest thing.
That was my favorite part of raising my kid was, whenever something came out that he just got into, he was like, "Have you ever heard of this?" It's like, yes.
As a matter of fact.
Then he starts going into the Pokemon past the 150, and I'm like, "Listen here, you little asshole."
Oh yeah, I remember watching the original series growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. That's... A friend of mine had a Game Boy Color that we played the original game on, and we passed around because we only had the one copy.
Oh, yeah.
Needed to get that other copy so you could trade Pokemans.
Gotta catch them all.
No, my parents wouldn't let us have an actual, we didn't have anything. We had no laptop. No, we didn't have a computer until I was in high school. So we didn't have a game console, nothing. So, yeah. But I do remember playing it as a kid, and then I got it as an adult, and I was just tickled pink and playing through it. Like, this is a lot harder than I remember, but it's been a lot of fun playing through them again.
Oh yeah, the newer games, the newest games, have impressed me. They still leave a lot to be desired, technically, like graphically. I don't understand why the number one media selling franchise in the world is still releasing games that look like they came out 5 or 10 years ago. I never will understand that, but at the same time, why would they have to do any better? They're the number one media selling franchise in the world. We're still buying them.
Yep. Can't remember what's there's the more recent open world one that I have that I've played a little bit of, and I can't think of what it's called.
Legends Arceus.
Yes, that one. I've played it a little bit when I have time, and it's been really cool to kind of explore everything. But you're right, it does look a lot like it came out 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's a good game. It would have been an awesome game 5 or 10 years ago.
It's just graphics have improved so much since then.
Yeah. And part of me wants to blame it on the fact that it's on the Switch, which is already an underpowered console. But when you look at games like Breath of the Wild or Witcher or Skyrim on a Switch, you know it can handle it. You know it can handle better than what we're getting from out of Pokemon.
Breath of the Wild is absolutely gorgeous. And Immortals Phoenix Rising...
Yeah,
is really cool on Switch. I've loved playing that one. I'm almost beaten it. I'm really close, but I've enjoyed playing that one. It's just visually stunning.
Which by the time this episode of the podcast comes out, Tears of the Kingdom will have been released. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom will have been released for the Switch.
Yes, I'm so excited.
That comes out on the 12th.
I haven't played any of Breath of the Wild in a couple months, but I'm hoping that when I get a little bit of a break, I can spend some time playing and really dig into the game. So I'd hopefully get to the next one, too.
The old man in me has a hard time justifying a $70 price tag.
Yeah. Well, I already told you how to cheat the system once. So here's Guildmaster Rick coming at you telling you how to cheat the system again in a different way.
Did you say it on a podcast?
I did.
Oh, a different way.
Yes, this is a different way. Okay. Which the first way I already did say on a podcast. The going to Sam's Club, getting the
go back and listen to it.
Yeah.
I can listen to our other things, Rick.
Go back and listen to the first way to cheat the system. Here's the second way to cheat the system.
God.
Okay. GameStop just released a deal that will be going toward the end of May, where they have a list of games, and the list of games is huge. And if you trade in 2 of those games, you get Tears of the Kingdom for $20. So
I'm gonna have to check that out.
I went back through just today some of my old 3DS games, and I pulled out Fire Emblem Awakening, and I pulled out Pokemon Moon, and I'm going to trade in those two games I'll never touch again, and that's going to get me Tears of the Kingdom for $20.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
That's a really good deal.
I think 3DS games, aren't they going for quite a bit right now?
Depends on the 3DS game. I mean, like, Pokemon games will always go for a lot. But once again, I'll never touch Pokemon Moon again. Honestly, when I bought it, I was really disappointed with Pokemon Moon. And Fire Emblem games, it's kind of one of those things where they have their cult following, but once a newer Fire Emblem game comes out, nobody really goes back to the older Fire Emblem game. So,
Right.
I think I have one of those somewhere.
Yeah. So I wasn't super upset about letting those go. Before I got that far down on the list, and I was looking at some of the earlier ones, there were some on the list that I would have really agonized over. Like, do I really want to let go of this game? Like, they had both of the Spider-Man PS4 games on that list. They had Luigi's Mansion 3, Metroid Dread, some of the newer Pokemon games on there. But yeah, I'm not going to miss the games that I decided to turn in.
Fair.
I hope to look through that list, see what I can find, and I've got plenty of games that I haven't played in a long time that I can turn in, so I'm gonna have to check that out.
I'll see if I can track that list down and post it in the
Discord?
Yeah, in the Discord. I was looking for the actual name of the channel.
The arcade?
Geeky Deals, Guild Bazaar.
Yeah.
Guild Bazaar Geeky Deals. I'll see if I can track that list down and post it in there so people can look to see if they have 2 games they're willing to give up so they can get Tears of the Kingdom for $20.
Awesome. Yeah, that'd be great. I was looking at it. It looks amazing. So I really wanted to get into a couple more of the Zelda games. I've played some of the older ones. Just want to get into some of the new stuff too.
Yeah, that new merge system and build system for Tears of the Kingdom looks insane. It honestly has me... This is the old man in me. Sometimes I look at some of the things they come out with new games, and I'm like, they're putting too much in it. Like, I'm not going to have time to fully dive into these systems and, like, build a whole car or, like, experiment with weapons until I find the perfect merge weapon. And I'm like, they're putting too much in this game. Give me my simple game that I can beat in a weekend. And other people are like, no, give me that open world experience that'll take me 5,000 hours to defeat. And
The last game pissed me off when all the weapons kept breaking.
yeah.
Stupid weapons.
Baron, you know where you can get some equipment that won't break on you?
Oh, I think I do.
tvillain.com.
T-Villain is a t-shirt site where you'll find a killer limited edition shirt being sold for $13 only while supplies last. Every Monday, the site features a new design by a new artist. We would tell you what's featured right now, but by the time you hear this, it's already changed.
They choose the most ingenious designs that reflect everything evil and villainy, as well as works pertaining to anything artistic, pulp style, lowbrow, pop culture, TV, movies, music, video games, comics, etc. All things cool and evil, basically. To check them out and help out Casters Guild, click our link in the description.
That's not quite where I thought that was going.
Well, you know.
But still a hell of a deal.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I enjoyed the durability system in Breath of the Wild, but only because it forced me to learn how to use different weapons.
No, you can't just rely on one thing like you normally would do. Like his sword, you just have to figure out what works best against what enemy and pray that it doesn't break.
Yeah, I never would have found out how much I liked the spears in that game if all my one-handed swords hadn't broke and forced me to use the spears. And then I'm like, oh, okay.
Let me ask you a question, though. Can you get the Master Sword in that game?
Breath of the Wild? You
Yeah.
can.
Does it break if you use it too much?
Yes and no. So I don't feel like this is a spoiler because the game's been out for long enough, and we don't really hide spoilers on this game anyway. You can't get it until you have at least 13 hearts. Because as you're trying to pull it out of the stone, it like drains your life, and you need 13 hearts to actually pull it out of the stone.
Christ.
Once you have it, so it has a durability meter just like every other weapon. But when it runs out, when the durability runs out, then the energy in the sword just runs out, and you just can't use it for like 5 or 10 minutes. And then its durability meter will reset, and then you can use the Master Sword again. So it doesn't break, but like if you use it too much, it will force you to use something else.
You just have to plan on when you fight the big baddies.
Mm-hmm. And if you get the DLC, there are 2 dungeons you can run through, and they're not easy. But with each dungeon that you run through, the Master Sword gets stronger. So its durability lasts longer, and it just has a higher base damage.
Nice. I do enjoy a good dungeon crawler game.
Mm-hmm.
I play some of the older ones. I have Fate that I play quite a bit, and Torchlight that I play. Those are... I had to get them through Steam because they stopped running through Wild Tangent.
Yeah.
And my laptop doesn't play them, but thankfully they still work through Steam, and I get on there and I play them on occasion. Because you can get through one floor in 10-15 minutes, so...
Yeah. Steam will always be one of the best ways to play and download PC games. They actually had some stuff. I got a ping from Steam earlier today that some of the stuff on my wish list went on sale. But I was like, unless they're like 90% off, I just bought Jedi Survivor and I'm getting ready to buy Tears of the Kingdom. So, yeah, and I don't think I'm going to be buying anything new for a little while. And I just took a week-long vacation to Disney, followed by a cruise to the Bahamas. So,
yeah, that'll put a damper on things.
Funds are looking a little tight.
Well, you didn't look like you got any sun, so...
Oh, no, I definitely did.
You sure you went to the Bahamas?
Look, if you'd have seen this versus what it was a week ago, then you'd be like, oh, okay, yeah.
You stopped reflecting sunlight finally.
Yeah, exactly. I took off my shirt at the beach of the Bahamas, and people were like, the beacons are lit! Gondor calls for aid!
Oh, yep, same problem.
Mm-hmm.
My sister does that. She'll joke about that with me if we go to the beach, walk out of the changing room in my bathing suit, and she does the exact same thing.
Yep.
And I spend my afternoon hiding under an umbrella. Although, occasionally there is seaworthy revenge. She got smacked by a turtle.
Oh, that's fun.
Scared the ever-living tar out of her. And she's just running around screaming, and we look over and there's a turtle.
Oh, man. So, Baron, have you seen the trailer for Candela Obscura?
I have.
It looks so cool. I watched it last night. It looks amazing.
Did you see what it's based off of?
No.
Or what they're using, I should say?
Mm-mm.
It's the first game that they're releasing using their new system.
Do you know which one? Because they were releasing a couple new ones.
No, it's the longer one, the Illuminated Worlds, I believe.
Gotcha.
The one for longer narrative play.
That makes sense.
It looks... I watched the trailer, and I'm so excited to see it.
Yeah, I will say it's not my favorite genre of game, Gothic horror, but Taliesin helped develop the game, so it's got to be okay. It's got to be okay.
I'm not usually a big fan of like horror films, but Gothic horror I actually enjoy for some reason. I guess it's because it's not the bloody, gruesome, jump out and scare you horror. Mm-hmm. But I also like Call of Cthulhu. Who is that guy?
Oh, why did I all of a sudden blank on that? Yes, that's it.
Yes, H.P. Lovecraft. I love his work. The authors of that era that all wrote that in that genre are just amazing, and I love those stories.
Yeah, I'll say I like everybody who picked up what H.P. Lovecraft put down and ran with it.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of H.P. Lovecraft or his work.
It
inspired, great stuff.
Well, like a lot of the authors of the time, there's of course issues with things he said and did.
Well, yeah. On top of that, he's a horrible person. Yes,
he is. But there are some horrible people that have been absolutely phenomenal writers that have influenced pop culture. So
yeah.
Like my thing with H.P. Lovecraft is, there's this thing. It's an indescribable horror. It's like, I bet if you tried really hard, you could.
You could at least get close.
I mean, in the ballpark, you could do this. I believe. It's a black man.
All you have to do is giant green squid face thing with wings.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think he did go more into detail with Cthulhu which
yeah.
everybody, all artists nowadays don't even come close to the original description of Cthulhu.
No, that whole Eldritch horror thing, no one really comes close. Have you ever listened to Tanis?
Mm-mm.
It's a podcast, and they kind of get into the whole old gods, Eldritch horror type deal. Them and old gods of Appalachia are fantastic.
Old Gods of Appalachia is good.
Oh my goodness, yes.
I thought I was going to get into this, I thought I was going to get into it listening to a nice, like, I don't want to say scary, but, like, kind of creepy, dark, because, like, look, my family's from the hills. I know what's up. But, man, these people actually made this scary. And I'm like, oh no.
Oh yeah, there's moments that are absolutely terrifying, and it's just this one guy narrating, and it's so good. What season are you on, Baron?
I'm still on the first season. I think I finished the first season, and I haven't been able to get to the because I was driving to and from work when I was listening to it.
Makes sense.
And then I wasn't, working from home. So I just haven't really picked it up again because I don't want to listen to it here by myself.
I listen to it at work. I listen to it at work in my office with my door pretty much completely closed. So you can imagine I have been snuck up on several times. But the start of season 2 is intense.
I think I made it I think I made it all the way through the first season. You just haven't.
I hear it's more intense than camping.
Ha 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 ha. Very funny.
Mm-hmm. I don't get it. It is camping. Camping's fun. Be pretty laid back sometimes.
Yeah. But it is intense.
Camping? No.
You'd usually do it in tents.
No, I go into it pretty chill.
But anyway, the first episode of Candela Obscura is going to hit us Thursday, May 25th, 7 p.m. Pacific.
Just in time for my birthday.
Also, if anybody was really wanting to know as well, I believe, yes, a free Candela Obscura quick start guide and how to play video launching the morning of the first episode's premiere. So, the morning of May 25th, there will be a quick start guide and a how to play video.
We'll do our best to remember to post a link to that in our Discord once it's actually available.
If you're going to Gen Con, Darrington Press is going to be running full gameplay sessions.
Holy shit.
Using the adventure that's going to appear in the quick start guide.
Nice.
Yeah. And then a full rule book is going to be published at the end of the year.
That should be awesome. I also, I know this has nothing to do with anything, but I love the title of Lightkeeper as the game master. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. It's weird though, because like I don't know anything about the game, but it made me think of two different games. It made me think of Blades in the Dark.
Mm-hmm. Definitely similar setting, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then there's a game where you're playing, and I believe you're playing by candlelight.
10 Candles.
And is it about like an apocalyptic world? It's about to end. The sun's going out.
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
Well, it can be. The whole point of 10 Candles is you literally light 10 candles, and you can blow out one of the candles in order to establish a truth about the world. But once all 10 are out, then the apocalypse or whatever bad thing that was coming happens.
That sounds interesting. I'm not familiar with that one.
But you could be talking about something else.
I believe the game I was thinking of was Shadows of a Dying Sun.
Oh, okay. I hadn't heard of that one.
I'm gonna have to check those both out. We have a local game store that runs some tabletop games and a continuing campaign, D&D campaign. I'm gonna have to check that out, see if they have it.
Shadows of Dying Sun, you can get a PDF, $9.99 on DriveThru RPG.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good price.
I mean, I have I've always known about the glory of drive-through RPG, but I've always hated like PDF books. Now that I've kind of gotten over that a little bit, good lord, there's so much cool stuff on here. So much cool stuff. I believe that is the game I'm thinking of, though. Shadows of a Dying Sun.
I mean, it sounds like it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that if I ever played it, it would give me horrible existential moments, but it sounds like it's fun.
Speaking of tabletop games, have you guys seen the Dungeons and Dragons movie yet?
Oh yeah, we've talked about it several times.
Talk about it again. I don't care.
Oh yeah, at length. It's exactly what I wanted it to be.
Well, when my mother came to me and goes, "Hey, we need to go see this. It looks really good," before I even saw the trailer, she had a blast. And I mean, I had fun. There's a little collectible cup, and it has a mimic on top.
I actually didn't know about that. When we were talking about some of the stuff that you could get, like we saw the tavern mug and the D20 popcorn bucket you could get from AMC. There was a theater. Was it in Thailand, Baron?
Yes.
There was a theater in Thailand that was giving away a Dice Tower drink cup.
Wow.
That looked fantastic. Had me thinking about paying international shipping prices. But I don't know where the mimic came from. Where was that from?
Regal Cinemas.
Nice.
Big old cup and everything. It's a little topper.
That's actually pretty cool.
And a popcorn bucket that has the dragons on it, which my mother is thrilled about because she about died laughing in the scene with Themberchild. The Wormsmith.
I think I used a guild decree that named him Thunderchunk.
No, Thunderchunk is the new one. Thunderchunk is our boy who runs the
Oh, that's right.
Who's out back of the Kobold Tavern.
You're right.
She was dying laughing. She's just like, he's so cute. I'm like, no, that's not cute. That's a run.
But also cute.
Yes.
Go
She's like,
and then plushie of him.
Oh, there are several now. Jeez, like there's, oh man, I forget which company did the first one, but you can now get Themberchild at Build-A-Bear. Yeah.
Oh goodness.
And then you can decide how stuffed it is.
Oh goodness.
Build-A-Bear. And
I'm having a Kylo Ren moment.
I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
No, you're screaming more.
And I told my mother that Chris Pine, who he's also played Captain Kirk.
Yes.
That the movie is him on the holodeck playing D&D with the crew.
Oh, I like that theory.
We were talking about who would it be and who would play what, and we basically both agreed that Zank is Spock.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Logic.
That makes a ton of sense.
Pop in, see what it is, and then leave.
This is a theory I have not heard, and I fully support it.
And we were talking about it and just going over who it would be, and then she was like, "So what about Next Generation?" I'm like, "Well, So I think we both agreed that Data would probably be the Chris Pine's character.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you've ever seen. Have you watched any more Star Trek?
Yes. Not all of it, but definitely have watched more.
There's an episode where Data sings Blue Skies at a wedding.
Gotcha.
And Worf is like, really? Blue Skies? And I wish I could remember what episode that was. It might be it might have been O'Brien's wedding to Kiko. So that's
Kiko.
It's been a long time since I've watched those.
Yeah, that's the only wedding that he was really at, was O'Brien.
Yeah, so it'd probably have to be that one then. But he's the only character that I've heard sing, so.
Fun bit of trivia. I don't know if I've already talked about this, but we are familiar with Chief O'Brien.
Yeah.
Do you know why? Do you know why he showed up so much in that show?
Other than being really popular?
The people who did the show really liked Cole Meany. Like, they love the guy. So, like, when they were doing stuff, they're like, okay, well, we need to do something with this. And they're like, put O'Brien in it. And they're like, oh, all right. Like, I guess there was, like, one where they're like, okay, we need a wedding. We need some kind of wedding. And they're like,
Put O'Brien in it.
O'Brien and Keiko. They're going to get married. And they're like, all right. Yeah, so just him being a great guy got him all of that. And the guy's a great actor anyways. If you've ever seen him in any other stuff, you see him as O'Brien and then you watch him in something else, you're like, holy shit, this guy has range.
Yeah, he does. He's got a lot of range as an actor. I can't remember what else it was that I saw him in, but I've seen him in other movies and shows. I just can't think of them off the top of my head.
There was one where he was like a tough guy. He was like I don't know if he was the bad guy, but he was definitely a tough guy. But yeah, I love seeing him and stuff. He's a good guy.
I think there was one other partial wedding in Star Trek. I think it might have been, it was Next Generation. Roxana Troy, Deanna Troy's mother.
That's right.
One of my favorite episodes.
No, I take that back. That may have been the episode that he sang that in. That seemed because Data was walking Keiko out. He was the father of the bride.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they shoved all the cringe that they could get into the Loxwana Troy episode.
There was, and I still can hear it so clearly. Deanna Troy going, "You're not going to be naked at your own wedding?" And because she was marrying this uptight diplomat.
Right.
And that's one of the things my mother and I were talking about this afternoon. Just the little bits and funny moments that we loved from the series. It doesn't help that I listened to your guys' Star Trek episode earlier today, so it's fresh on my mind.
So a couple other pieces of news we've gotten recently. We finally have a release date for Beetlejuice 2.
Is that hold on, is that verified? Is that confirmed?
So, okay.
I saw someone confirm it with a fake poster.
Yeah, no, this is not that fake poster.
Okay. Right.
Now, it's currently set with the release date, but that doesn't mean it will release on that date. We all know how movies do. Like, it's not like the official release date. Technically, it's like, this is the date we're shooting for. But Jenna Ortega will be in it.
Oh,
confirmed. Wow. Yep. Starring as Lydia's daughter. And Danny Elfman himself confirmed that Tim Burton is working on the project.
Nice.
So
yeah, it looks like I just pulled up an article. It says we're shooting for September of 24.
September 6th, 2024.
Nice.
It's going to be, from what I can see here, it's going to be Warner Brothers making it for Netflix.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. And Justin Theroux has also joined the cast, but I don't see as who. Keaton is coming back as Beetlejuice.
Okay.
And like I said, we got Jenna Ortega as Lydia's daughter.
And Winona Ryder's in it as well as, Lydia.
I don't see that here, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. Well, I see another article which may not be reliable, but
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I can't think of a reason she'd say no, other than just completely underpaying her, which I don't think Warner Brothers would do. So
I pulled up the IMDb listing, and it has Winona Ryder as Lydia Dietz.
Yeah,
I will say this: IMDb is not the most reliable either.
No, they kind of will take anything. But like I said, I'd be more surprised if she wasn't in it than if she was.
88. The first one came out in 88.
Yeah.
Yep. The year before I was born.
Look, we're just making each other feel old over and over again on this episode.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of release dates, Good Omen 2 got a release date.
Yeah, that should be soon, isn't it?
July 28th. We're getting the new season.
Yeah, I knew they were working on it.
Mm-hmm. We got the release date. Of course, that's going to be on Amazon Prime, just like the season 1 was. We got a nice little, cute little poster for the release date.
I'm really looking forward to that.
That show really surprised me. Like, I hadn't read the book beforehand. I kind of sat down and watched it because Tiffany was like, "You need to watch this show. It's going to be good." And it did really surprise me.
I haven't watched that one yet. I finally started watching Wednesday. So
Wednesday was really good too. Yeah.
I think I got through the first 4 or 5 episodes last night. I got all the way up to the Raven Dance.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
And I do want to watch Good Omen. That one looks really good. And I like David Tennant.
Oh yeah, if you're a Tennant fan, you have to see Good Omens. It really scratches that David Tennant itch.
I just realized that we don't have a spot to talk about movies in the Discord, do we?
Not specifically, no. We might have to add that in.
We'll work on that.
Have you seen that Hades is getting a sequel?
I did not. Apparently Baron has.
Supergiant has started on a Hades 2 featuring his sister, Zagreus' sister, Melinoe. So, and she's more, and she's taught by Hecate, a witch in Greek mythology. And it looks like it's going to be really good. Like I've watched the trailer for it. It looks fantastic. It's similar gameplay, but totally different story. She's fighting Kronos.
Okay. All right.
And it's supposed to be released at some point this year. They don't have a date yet. It's going to Steam and PC first.
Yeah, of course.
So
that makes sense.
Well, it's the same thing they did with Hades. So
I feel like Hades didn't have a console release date planned at all, and then it got popular enough on PC that they released it on consoles.
No, they are planning on releasing it to consoles after the beta testing through Steam and I think Epic Games. But I'm excited about that one.
Have either of you seen Guardians Volume 3?
No, not yet.
Yes, I have.
That's another thing I did on my vacation. That was the last thing I did is went and saw Guardians 3 in the theater. And let me tell you, if you're an animal lover, you'll need to prepare yourself for this one.
Because they go into Rocket's backstory. I know that much, but I'm also familiar with the comic books, so...
Yeah.
Well, if you're familiar with the comic books, this is way different.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Rocket's origin isn't even like it is in the movies. Rocket's origin, he was, a resident of Half-World, and he was chilling on Half-World, and then he just I think he was sheriff of Half-World, but then he ended up leaving and becoming this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they're diverging a lot from the comics.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
But we do get to see Adam Warlock finally come out of that freaking casket that they teased.
I will go into more detail, though. If you are an animal lover, go into it carefully, because there is depictions of animal abuse, animal mutilation, all that stuff. So yeah,
it needs a trigger warning on that one. Like it's pretty bad.
With what we already know of Rocket's past from the movies, it's got to be awful.
It gets graphic. Is the point? Like they don't even hint at it. They don't tell you what happened. It gets graphic, and it's not just about Rocket either. Like in general, just it's pretty graphic.
Like hurt an animal really, really, really bad, and then give it a voice.
Mm-hmm.
Ouch. Ooh. Maybe this is one my mother isn't going to go see in theaters with me.
Yeah, if you are the kind of person who gets severely triggered by animal abuse, if you're still sold on watching it, maybe wait for it to come on streaming so you can like pause it and step away and come back, or maybe even skip a couple scenes. Okay, it gets intense.
Sounds like a good idea. Yeah, sounds like a good idea.
Also, if you're one of those, you throw the entire movie out if they shoot the dog.
Yeah, throw this one out. Yeah, throw this one out.
Right
yeah.
now.
Yikes. I do want to see it, though. It looks really good.
Yeah, they don't shoot Cosmo. They do. There are quite a few other...
you'll see.
Yeah. Or maybe you won't.
It does look like a really good movie. Hopefully I'll get to see it soon. I've got a few more weekends of insanity, and then I have free time until August, which, you guys know that I do historic tours at the historic cemetery. I've had some crazy stuff happen over the last year or so.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Not this past year, but the year before, on my tour, in front of my 30 people on my tour, a softball-sized ball of light showed up about waist high and traveled around to where my bag was on my hip. And the poor guy next to me, he goes, "What the hell was that?" I'm like, just keep going. Just keep walking. Ignore it. And yeah, I've had some crazy stuff happen on those tours. People seeing other people that aren't in the tours counting. I counted each stop, how many people I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had tours where I've had 28 people at one stop, 29 at one stop, and then 28 again at the rest of the stops.
Interesting.
People have told me, hey, there's a kid here that's unaccompanied. Weird shadows that move that have happened on occasion. Oh, it's a cemetery.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
But
you
it's
start treading on their turf.
Well, they're pretty chill for the most part. The things that will scare you are actually the crows. They'll drop They drop rocks on your head to scare you, and then laugh. Ridiculous little buggers. They'll find someone alone and just drop a small rock or an acorn on someone's head, and then they laugh like people.
Yep.
They've all learned to laugh. And we've had several people run screaming from the cemetery, terrified of a group of crows.
I can imagine. They do not sound like birds.
No, especially, and they sound, it's that uncanny valley thing.
Oh, yeah.
They sound close enough to human that it's terrifying when you know it's not.
Right.
And I've heard them from across the cemetery. And if you don't know what it is, it can be a little scary. But I've had some.
I need to get a crow call so I can start making friends with the crows in my area.
Just leave shiny stuff out.
I need to get them to my yard first.
I've made friends with the murder in our backyard.
Nice.
There's about 5 or 6. They know me. They keep the deer away from my roses.
That's funny.
They're a hoot.
I was thinking about making friends with the crow at my local Kroger's, but that might be a little hard. I'd have to sit in the parking lot for a while.
Yeah.
But the place that I worked previously had a nesting pair of turkey vultures that would just come over while people were eating lunch and stare at you until you gave them something.
Oh my god, that's terrifying.
Oh, well, they were pleasant. They weren't aggressive.
I'm sure they probably figured out that if they were pleasant, they would get food. However...
But they are terrifying birds.
Turkey vultures can still mess a person up if they wanted to.
Oh yes. You don't realize how big they are until they're 5 feet away from you begging for half of your sandwich.
Right.
But I'd still take them over a goose any day.
No, fair. Yep, I'm right there with you.
Oh, hey, geese are flying rats.
Yeah.
No, pigeons
Rats are
flying rats.
rats are nicer than geese. Yeah.
They're devil birds.
As someone that has had a pet rat, yes, rats are nicer than geese.
So speaking of things that are absolutely terrifying, Black Mirror Season 6 got a trailer.
I have not watched that one yet either.
Black Mirror is pretty great. I've loved the whole series. They released the interactive movie, Bandersnatch, and Season 6 finally got a trailer. If you're into that Twilight Zone type stuff, you'll like Black Mirror.
Oh, yes. I remember growing up, New Year's Eve, it was either all the Star Trek movies or Twilight Zone.
And
all the classic.
That season is set to release sometime in June.
Nice. Give me some time to catch up on the first 5. There's one podcast, Scared to Death, that I've been listening to that does a lot of like lore and legends and like urban legends, but then part of it is people sending in things that have happened to them, and they have pictures, and they'll if someone sends something in of a picture they took, or if historically this is something that's happened, like the stuff that happened at the Villisca Axe Murder House in Ohio. I think it's Ohio, and they show all of that. You can watch it on YouTube or listen to it on it's a podcast, but that one can get that one's been a little spine tingling in places. So, but I do need to check out Black Mirror. I haven't done that one yet, so.
Yeah, it shouldn't surprise me based off of the cast they've had for previous seasons, but this season, just from the trailer, you can see that it includes Aaron Paul, Ben Barnes, Michael Cera, Rory Culkin, a bunch of people. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to check that out.
If you've been following the Anne Rice Immortal universe, which if you know my wife, you know I have been, there has been the Interview with the Vampire series, the Mayfair Witches series, and now they're including a new third series to the Immortal universe based on the Talamasca, which, if you know anything about Anne Rice books, they're the order of supernatural scholars who study these beings, like, vampires, witches, all kinds of stuff, and they're getting their whole new their own series.
Cool. It's about time. I've seen Interview with the Vampire. It wasn't my favorite. I liked the book better than the series or the movies, but that's just me.
It's always going to be the book is better, but I will say I think I like the series adaptation better than the movie adaptation.
Okay. I might have to check out the series then, because I wasn't too fond of the movie adaptation after reading the book. And I wanted to go down to Louisiana to see the house that inspired the books. Someday I'll get down there.
We've seen it. We went there on a vacation once. We got to see that house.
Nice. I don't think I've actually been to New Orleans yet. I've been to Louisiana, but not New Orleans.
Yeah, my wife kind of fell in love with it.
There's so much.
Yeah, my wife kind of fell in love with it and wants to go back there all the time now.
No, it's a beautiful. It is a beautiful city now that it's started to come back from after Katrina.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go down to the French Quarter and the Narrow House. There's a lot of there's so many places to visit. Of course, all the cities of the dead.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, now most of those when we went were closed to the public. Like you couldn't actually go in.
You can only get to them on tours.
Yeah.
I think number 1 might still be open to the public, or I might just be for tours because they had so many issues with people going to Murray Laveau's tomb.
Right.
And desecrating it. I would love to visit. It's a beautiful town, so much history. Someday I'll get down there, even though it's humid as all get out.
With all these other things getting trailers and release dates, Peacock's series Twisted Metal got a trailer.
Saw that.
And has a release date of July 27th. I gotta say, I used to play those games all the time when I was a kid, and they are definitely capturing, if it's anything like the trailer, they are definitely capturing the chaotic feel of that game in this series.
Yeah, I think they have a long way to figure out how to make this a cohesive storyline.
Yeah, because the plot of Twisted Metal could usually be summarized in 2 sentences. There's a guy, his name's Calypso. He does a tournament. If you win it, you get a wish.
Later on, they really, really tried to put more stuff into it.
Yeah, starting with Twisted Metal Black, and
I think there was 3 different sweet tooths.
Mm-hmm.
I think it got convoluted. So we'll see.
We'll see what they do.
Yeah.
But I mean, Anthony Mackie, I'll watch just about anything with him in it now at this point. So.
Yep. Well, who was he playing in that? What car was he driving?
The character's name is just John Doe.
Oh, that's one of the that's one of the characters.
Yeah.
Is that That's not Roadkill, is it?
You know what? Let me type this in our Google machines here.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Did you guys
Roadkill.
There you go.
Did you guys see him in Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Watch that as it was coming out.
Yep. That I did as well. My mother was watching it with me, and the first time they showed the guy that played the new Captain America, looked at her and I said, I just kind of want to punch him in his potato face.
Oh yeah.
It was a fantastic series, though.
Yeah, John Walker, they kind of played him off more as a little joke in the comics.
Yeah.
You know, he was just always too hot-headed to be taken seriously. He was the Guy Gardner of the Marvel Universe. So yeah, he was so angry that it was funny kind of situations. They really darkened him up in this one. I'm not saying
yes,
dark in the comics, but I mean, they just took him straight there. And
yeah.
The reasoning behind it's really cool, though. I really like the reasoning behind it. I actually kind of like I know that there for a while it was, you know, they could never recreate the super soldier serum, even in the comics. You couldn't recreate the super soldier serum. I'm glad they did. I'm glad they did because it made for a really good story.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now
we get to know for real what happens when someone who isn't worthy of it gets it.
Yeah.
And then the secondary storyline with the older gentleman that had been
the first
how that wrapped up.
Yeah, Isaiah Bradley.
That was a great moment.
His nephew is one of the Young Avengers.
Cool.
Which I doubt they're going to ever build up to, even though they keep alluding to the fact that they're going to build up to the Young Avengers.
They might get there in like 30 years.
If I had to guess, they're never ever going to call them the Young Avengers. They're going to introduce these characters.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to let them grow up, and then they're just going to be Avengers.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen.
Because that's what everybody recognizes. It's like people recognize Justice League, but not always like Wonder Woman and Hawkgirl.
Definitely Hawkgirl is one of the more hard ones to remember exists.
I remember her because her and Wonder Woman were my two favorite DC.
Wonder Woman is actually one of the more recognizable DC characters who has a very, very wonderful origin, let me tell you. And I don't mean in the comics, I mean how that character was made. There's a whole movie about how Wonder Woman was made. Oh, it's right there on the tip of my tongue. I'm going to Google it. It was a good movie, though. Professor Marston and the Wonder Women.
Is it available on streaming?
Parental discretion is advised. I don't know if it's available on streaming. It might be worth a look.
I'd be willing to check that one out.
It's really good. It's really binding.
Yeah.
Very binding. Yep.
Oh, it's got Luke Evans.
The story really pulls you in and keeps you tied to the screen.
Right.
Really, you two? I guess it was my turn. It's just to miss things. Thanks, guys. That's what I get for not paying attention when I'm...
It's what we do. It's what we do.
Yeah.
I also...
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was ready to change the subject.
I was just about to say it's really good. It's really good if you have a chance.
I also recently saw Anthony Mackie in the Netflix movie We Have a Ghost.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Oh fuck. Sorry, I haven't got it. I'm not trying to take anything away from Anthony Mackie, but I just heard about this. I had no clue. It just kind of snuck under the radar. If anybody watched Sweet Tooth, the second season is out.
I watched a couple episodes, and I need to finish the first season.
So angry. It came out, the second season came out April 27th.
Oh, wow.
Nothing about it, no fanfare, nothing. I liked the first season so much, and then they're just like, oh, here's the second season.
Here's our stealth release.
Yeah. Oh, so angry.
Well, I think Shadow and Bone got its second season.
Okay.
Which I wasn't aware of until I popped onto Netflix to watch Wednesday.
Mm.
And I know you guys are fans of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yes.
You need to check out The Dragon Prince.
I've heard about this. That was an anime that was like made for Netflix, right?
I think so. but it's done by a lot of the same people and the same voice actors that did Avatar. And it's really good. They're at 4 seasons, leading up to a 5th at some point in the future. I waited like a year and a half, 2 years to watch the 4th season, thinking it would be the last one, that it would follow the same pattern as Avatar. And it didn't. There's another season. It's switched over to Dragon Prince Mystery of Aberos. And there's 1 season of that one. Now I'm waiting for the next season, season 5, at some point, probably next year at least. But it's really good.
You want to hear? I don't even want to call it a pun, but one of the best jokes in that whole thing was first season. They're like going up in the desert, and they're riding this big animal, and they see this sheen of light, this curtain of light that is covering this entire area, and they're like, "Oh, what's that?" And she or he, whoever's explaining it's like, "Oh, it's a energy that is put up as a barrier. It's powered by this wondrous energy, blah 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 blah." And then she's like, "Anyway, here's Wonderwall."
Okay, that's
I
good.
missed that.
That's good.
Oh my god! It's the same scene where the dude picked up the boomerang. He was like, looks familiar."
Right.
Because the
I
dude
did
who
catch
does that
that.
voice is Sokka.
Right.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes. I'd
Yeah,
missed
same.
I'd missed
Oh my
that.
god! And what killed me was like she was talking through it, and I was like, no. Oh, this is not going where I think it is. Is this going where I think it is? Here's Wonderwall. I'm like, yes. I turned it off and didn't watch the rest of it. I was done. It was a win right there. I don't know what happened in the rest of the series. That was it. The pinnacle of the entertainment of that show. No, I'm kidding. I watched the rest of it.
We'll go ahead and turn this off. It's not going to get any better.
I argue that it didn't, but it stayed entertaining. So that was the pinnacle of that series, though.
And as long as I'm talking about all these release dates and all these movies coming out, don't forget, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse comes out June 2nd. And they've already announced that the 3rd film in that series, Beyond the Spider-Verse, is scheduled for March 29th, 2024.
That's cool.
And they're talking about doing a female-focused spin-off film.
Oh, man, I can't wait for the internet outrage.
It's going to be so tasty.
Oh, my God, I'm so fucking horny for it. I'm sorry, I don't use that word very often. Oh, my God. Oh my god. I am turned on by the internet outrage right now. Wow. Man, you made my night. Woo!
We're gonna have to figure out which we're gonna have to figure out which hashtags the haters will be using so we can
Oh man.
so we can follow them.
Man, you know what? And I hope it's Jessica Drew too. I hope it's centered on her.
Yeah.
God, I hope it's centered on her. A pregnant black lady. Fuck you, haters. Please let it be about her. I'm not even familiar with the character yet.
Yeah.
But I already, before I even know anything about the character, I want it to happen. So I have no doubt I'm going to love this character.
Yeah,
God.
I don't see any information here about like what the spinoff is going to be about or who it's going to be centered around or anything like that. It just says female-focused spinoff.
That could literally mean anything.
Yeah, it could. And it doesn't matter what it means. There will be internet hate, and it will be delicious.
It's probably already happening. I hate myself that I'm missing it because I don't know where it is. God.
It's on Twitter. It's always on Twitter. It's just a matter of finding the right hashtags. Twitter, Reddit. That's always where you'll find it.
Internet trolls.
Mm-hmm.
Turn me on. That's how I'm going to get back at him. That's how I'm going to get back at him. I was like, oh God, please hate on it. You are turning me on so much. And they're going to be like, and then they'll stop. I'll save the world from trolls.
Yeah, hate that film, Daddy. Hate it.
Hate it harder, Daddy. Oh, Twitter is fucked here in a little while. God.
Oh, yeah, hate it.
And for anyone just listening, I'm just sitting here shaking my head, wondering how I got dragged into this.
I'm crying.
Oh man. Oh man. Where you at, Twitter? Where you at? There you are. What's on Twitter?
Right under Elon Musk's thumb. That's where it's at.
Oh man, oh man, oh man.
Y'all okay now?
Yeah, I'm good. Hold on. Let me do what I normally do and bring the mood down. Have you been following the writer's strike?
The WGA strike?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of it.
Yeah, I was like following. That's too strong of a word. I'm aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
I support them. I think that if a lot of our shows go the way of Heroes, I will not blame the writers.
Right.
That's for sure. Especially with more and more of the stuff coming out is for streaming. Beetlejuice 2.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They really need to, do something about it.
Pay your people. Stop paying less and less so you can report record profits and pay your fucking people.
Yeah, it's gonna cause issues. Like nothing's gonna come out, so no one's gonna watch your streaming service until what they want to watch comes out. So then you're just gonna lose money. So you gotta decide here: less profit with good series, or nothing.
What I think is funny is that they are basically they are saying, hey, we can't pay you anymore because streaming services aren't profitable.
Which is just bullshit.
Yeah.
It's extreme bullshit.
Oh yeah, there's no way that things like Netflix and Disney Plus are not profitable.
No way. There's no way. I mean, even if you say, hey, the streaming service itself is not profitable, bitch, the shit that you get off of it is, though, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All that Grogu merch that you're passing off, yeah, okay, not profitable, all right,
Yeah.
assholes.
I have to thank Adam Conover. I follow him on just about everything, and if not for Adam Conover, I wouldn't know anywhere close to as much as I know about this strike. And the man had the cojones to dunk on like the CEO of CNN while doing an interview on CNN.
Nice. Classy. Good for him.
Yeah.
Which, if anybody else is a fan of Adam Conover, you can check him out on Dropout TV, where he was just in the last 3 episodes of Game Changer.
Game Changer Battle Royale.
Yep. So, good stuff. I love Adam Conover stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like way back when he was doing stuff for College Humor and stuff. It's oh my god, it's so good.
Adam
so
Ruins
good.
Everything will always be one of my favorite shows.
So good, and you get to see a young Emily Axford and her husband. His name is, we're gonna call him Jack.
Brian K. Murphy.
Brian Murphy, what? Oh, because they always call him Murph.
Uh-huh.
Fuck those guys. I was like, the only name I remember is Riz Gukgak. That's it. It's the only name I remember. I mean, that can't be so bad, though.
Of course, Baron, you would remember the name Riz Gukgak.
Well, yeah, because he's my romance partner.
Yeah, you gotta remember your romance partner.
Yeah. Or I will drag him back to the baronies to meet my Stark father.
He kept saying those hurtful
Hi,
things.
Hi, Harry, how are you?
Welcome.
I'm just wondering what in the heck I've gotten into. You must be punch drunk tonight.
You know it. You know what this was.
Unfortunately, yes. Yes.
You
I am
knew what
entirely
you
aware of
signed
what
up
I've gotten
for.
myself into.
Mm-hmm.
And considering I do a lot of theater, this is a nightly basis.
Yeah, one can imagine. Oh, man.
Especially with some of the ridiculousness I get up to in my current show.
So, is there any other geek news we want to talk about before we wrap this thing up?
Man, I don't know. I came in with just a little bit of stuff, and we just hit way more than I thought we were going to. Again, forgot about Sweet Tooth again. Almost missed it. But yeah. I'm playing a lot of Star Wars Online. If you guys want to check me out on Star Wars Online, I'll put my handle in the
the Discord.
In the Discord.
Wait, I thought you were playing Star Trek Online.
That's what I said. You don't have no proof otherwise.
I mean, it's not like it's recorded or anything.
No, Guild Decree. I said Star Trek Online.
Oh, snap. You sure did.
I can't believe I wasted the Guild Decree for that, but we're doing it.
Mary, if anyone liked what you had to say, is there anywhere they can find you on the internet?
I'm on Instagram. I'm Mary_bookworm89 is where you can find me.
Perfect. And I understand you just did an opening weekend for a show.
Yes. If you are in the state of Virginia or want to fly out here, I've got 2 more weekends of Lend Me a Tenner at Commerce Street Theater.
Perfect.
Do it.
And believe me, it's a show you would not want to miss. It's a lot of fun. I get up to some shenanigans. The whole cast does. It can be a little bit of a racy show, but it's a lot of fun.
I've heard about you theater kids.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that whatever you've heard is most likely true.
Oh, I know. I used to be a theater kid.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Casters Guild. Come check out our Discord. Always fun stuff going on there. Email us at castersguild@gmail.com. Let us know the kind of stuff that you want to hear about. And we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
I said Star Trek.